this the norm? Is this where a lot of people are going because they just figure natural hair is just unmanageable, aka too thick to handle? People don't want to handle thick hair anymore. Hey guys, welcome back. What's going on, subs? And how y'all doing, noobs? And just in case you don't know what a noob is, that's short for newbie. And just in case you don't know what a newbie is, honey, don't you worry, I'm about to tell you. A newbie be anybody checking me out, maybe for the first time, maybe for the second. It may even be for the third, fourth, or fifth. Guess what? We don't count those numbers around here. We really don't. I just want all of my subs and I want all of my noobs to gather around and come on in. Okay, so for today I got a question. First of all, I want to give a shout out to all my naturals out there that may be watching, that may be tuning in, because we do have quite a few. So with that being said, this particular episode is geared more towards y'all. Now, I know we focus a lot on relaxed hair, but our overall goal over here in these parts is healthy hair, period. Now, we briefly talked about hair salons before, okay, as far as how the prices are going up regarding a lot of the services, but this one left me a little confused. And I need a little bit of help as far as what's going on in the natural hair streets, more specifically in the hair salons. So I'm going to need all my naturals to come to the front, okay? Come to the front. You too. I need all y'all to come to the front because I'm going to need your help with something. What's going on with these natural hair salons and these stylists nowadays? I'm going to need to know the scoop because there's something rotten in Denmark. There's something going on. Or not going on. That should be going on. So I need to know what's going on. See what I'm saying? So to get right into it, you guys know that I am basically the black sheep of my family. I am the only relaxed gal in the fam. Everybody else is natural. So with that being said, a family member of mine came to visit. And she looked up a salon nearby because she had just taken out her braids and she wanted a silk press so she could get her ends trimmed and, just change it up a little bit. So she looked up this salon. The pictures looked really good. And so she called to make an appointment. So in doing so, the stylist, the salon owner, spoke with her and basically told her that she was going to assess her hair first because she wanted color. So the stylist said, we're going to assess your hair before we do that and yada, yada, yada. And please come with your hair already detangled. And I'm thinking, okay, already detangled. That's new to me. Because y'all know I haven't been to a salon in eons. And especially not a natural hair salon. So this is all new to me. So she hangs up the phone. They get together on the price and everything like that. And boom, she has the appointment. Fast forward to the appointment. Now she has been wearing her hair sort of in a poof, like pulled back in a ponytail, in a poof. She combs it every other day or whatever, but she makes sure it's in a poof. And, her hair is put together. It's not all over the place. She comes up to the salon. Her hair is still in a ponytail. So she sits in her chair and she's sort of assessing her hair. Now, remember, she wanted color in addition to the silk press. I'm assuming she took it out of the ponytail, like took the little rubber ponytail holder out. And she's going through her hair and she sort of makes a comment like, your hair's a little matted. Okay, now, sidebar, her hair was not matted. Her hair is very thick, and thick natural hair, as we know, can curl upon itself. So even though it wasn't matted, I guess it was not as detangled as she would have liked. Okay, back to the story. So anyway, she called it matted. And my family member, she sort of pushed back on that. And she said, well, it's not matted. So in the little pushback, the stylist said, well, you have really thick, pretty hair. It's nice. You have really nice hair. So again, my family member, my niece, was thinking, okay, so being that she assessed it, I should be able to get color. But the stylist didn't do that. She just sort of poo-pooed it, and didn't really explain why she wasn't going to do the color, which left my niece quite confused. So she's looking at her hair and she's saying, well, you have nice hair. Why don't you try clip-ins? Again, she wasn't too thrilled with that. And she was like, no, I don't really want to do clip-ins. So the stylist moved on. And so she proceeded to wash her hair, condition her hair, and did some steaming, something like that, So anyway, now this is what got me. Okay, so this is the part that I want to get to. So while she is blow drying her hair, and again, she has a lot of hair, a lot of thick hair. She then comments, oh, pretend I'm blow drying. She then comments, oh, have you ever thought about getting a texturizer? My niece was like, no. She said, yeah, that may make your hair more manageable. Don't worry, your hair will still look the same wet. You still have the texture, and all like that. But it's just going to make your hair more manageable. Okay, so my niece is telling me this story. And as soon as I heard that, I said, whoa, wait a minute. I said, so you go in there, you tell her that, I said, is she a natural hair stylist? And my niece proceeded to tell me that, yes, she does all hair. Like she does color, and at least per her website, she does color, she does this and that, and she deals with natural hair. So needless to say, I was surprised to hear her tell a natural gal with natural hair to get a chemical in their hair so it could be more manageable. Natural hair comes with its own type of maintenance, and we all know that. But being that you deal with natural hair, why would you encourage someone or tell someone that, hey, your hair is unmanageable because it is natural? Why not do something to make it more manageable? Unless they came in for that type of service, which she did not. So again, my niece sort of, she sort of played it cool. She was just like, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. So in addition to that, not only the texturizer, she also mentioned that if she used more heat on her hair, that too would make it more manageable. And I'm thinking she's explaining maybe heat training, okay? Heat training her natural hair. And again, my niece, she's like a lot of you guys. She doesn't use a lot of heat in her hair. She likes to wear braids and natural styles. But once in a blue moon, she'll get it pressed out, their ends trimmed, and she might wear it that way, and then it's back up into her natural styles. She loves being a natural. She loves wearing her hair natural. And so for her, at least right now, she's not interested in heat training or any chemical services or anything like that. So again, this was a little off-putting. So the appointment went on, and after she blow dried her hair, now she's about to get the press, as far as the silk press. And meanwhile, she did have another client. So she's buzzing between the two clients. And my niece noticed that she seemed a little rushed, but okay. So now she is flat ironing her hair, the press portion of the silk press. So she gets it nice and straight. And as soon as she's done, she's like, okay. And she's almost like pushing her out of the chair. And my niece sort of said, hold on, can you at least bump it or give me some curls or something like that? And the stylist was like, oh, okay, yeah, what kind of curls do you want? Do you want like this? Do you want like that? And she's going through her whole catalog, I guess, in her head of how to curl this girl's hair. And so my niece said, oh, if you could just do, this and that and A, B, and C. So she does that very quickly. And she gets her out that chair. She didn't put no spray, no hairspray, no nothing, no type of hold. She just sort of and got her out the chair. And so now her hair is done. She's waiting for her ride, which is us. And while she's waiting, her hair is slowly, it's just dropping and fading. And the woman, she's already locking up the shop, and ready to get out of there. And she says her goodbyes, oh, you gonna be all right? Oh, I guess we should have called somebody earlier. And my niece was like, oh no, they're on their way, this and that. So she locked up shop and she got ghost. So we picked her up not too long after that. And so when we got home, I looked at her and I said, hey, how do you feel? How did it go? And when I tell you that my niece was so disappointed, not only was she disappointed, her hair looked disappointed. The curls didn't hold for nothing. I mean, they were just half curled. It was just straight. It was, but she was very disappointed. And when she relayed this whole entire story to me, I have to say that I matched her disappointment. In fact, I would say that I was even more disappointed for her. Now, she did say that the woman was, she wasn't mean and she wasn't rude. She was somewhat professional or whatever, but she, number one, didn't understand why she couldn't get the color. If her hair was healthy, why not just do the color? Why are you offering me, as far as clips are concerned and all this other stuff? Number two is that once she did get her hair done, it didn't even last. By the time she got home, it was pretty much kaput. So we wrapped it up, and tried to salvage it that way. She didn't want me to bump the curls because, I got my certificate of curling and pressing and all that other stuff. So I offered to help her with her style. She's like, no, she didn't want any more heat in her hair. So we just wrapped it up, and that was pretty much it. The next day, you could really see the nice, trim that she got or whatever, but there was no real oomph to it. You know what I mean? So that was really disappointing for her. And she called the overall appointment underwhelming, because she had built it up in her head that, hey, I got my braids out. I'm about to, do the do. My hair's about to get done and pressed and silk pressed and all like that. It's the whole what you wanted versus what you got, So her expectations were so high that, well, I wouldn't even say they were so high, but she did have great expectations and none of them were really met, except for the trim. I thought the trim was really nice, but she was underwhelmed, needless to say. And for me, again, to hear the story, I was more taken aback and offended that, again, she went to a stylist as a natural and they were pushing, or she was pushing her to get offering. I don't want to exaggerate. She didn't push it on her, but she suggested that she get a texturizer and then to use the word manageable. I didn't like that. And I'm noticing that there are quite a few salons. Now, I haven't been myself, but second and third hand accounts that now going to the natural salon, honey, you basically have to do your head yourself and just show up for the style. A lot of them don't want to shampoo. A lot of them don't want to condition or do nothing like that. This woman didn't. She said she doesn't do protein treatments. She didn't even want to do the hair color, which was the service that my niece had initially booked. But on top of that, the whole detangling thing and come detangled. Now, I understand if your hair is unkempt. If you have been having maybe a rough go, things are going on in your life and you've just been neglecting your hair and it is tangled up and tied up and just in bondage. You know what I mean? It is a matted mess. I understand that because it does take time to do that. But that wasn't the case with my niece. She said to come detangled, and then when she came, she was basically disappointed that her hair wasn't fuss free. My words, not hers. And that she had to still comb it in order to even get to the shampooing. But correct me if I'm wrong, you would have to comb somebody's hair regardless to get to the shampoo bowl. You would have to comb their hair regardless once they come in. And with natural hair, yes, it's going to natural hair, those with thick 4C, 4B, whatever. But those with natural hair, curly hair, bushy hair, thick, beautiful hair, you can't just throw them underneath the water. You're going to have to comb them out first. And you doing natural hair, you should know this by now. And again, the whole texturizer thing, why would she need a texturizer? What's wrong with dealing with your natural hair the way it is? You don't have the right products to make sure that it is manageable? And I think that's code for nappy. And you know that over here, nappy is not a bad word. It's just a tight curl. But I think that people are more inclined to use euphemisms now because, people don't want to offend too much. But the new N word for hair, instead of saying nappy, now they're saying unmanageable. That's the new code word. And for all the beauty that we try to reinforce with us and our hair and our skin and all like that, it's like a step backwards. When you come out of a beauty salon, you want to feel beautiful. I mean, that is part of the title. That is part of the term, beauty salon. As well as when you go to a hairstylist, you expect for your hair to be styled, not just done. And as far as I'm concerned, she got neither service. It was almost like her hair was a bother. You know what I mean? Wow, this is a bother. This is a lot of time. This is a lot of effort. And I'm hearing that a lot, that natural hair is really a bother, even for the professionals that are supposed to be doing natural hair. So I wanted to come in here really quickly because I'm not in the natural hair side of the street as far as the salons and all like that. This one threw me for a loop. And I just wanted to check with all of y'all. Is this the consensus amongst the hairstylists out there that natural hair is just too much? And even though it's, pro black woman this and pro natural this and that and so forth and so on, a lot of these stylists and people, they're not pro natural hair. I'm finding out that they want to do the very least. They basically want you to show up already done, and now I'm not talking about braiding hair salons. I know they do a lot. Now I'm not talking about every salon, but I will say that I've seen the thumbnails on the YT, and I've heard the little mumblings here and there, and now I am hearing it firsthand that it's really hard out there in these natural hair streets as far as finding a good stylist that will not only take care of your hair, but give you the full service and make you feel good about your decision. I mean, it's your decision as far as natural or relaxed. I don't know. Y'all help me out with this, because this, like I said, this one threw me for a loop. Is this the norm? Is this where a lot of people are going because they just figure natural hair is just unmanageable, aka too thick to handle? People don't want to handle thick hair anymore. And these are the professionals. I understand at home that you may want to, I don't want to deal with this. That's why I go to the salon so that they can handle it. And then you go to the professionals and then they don't even want to handle your hair. You know what I mean? Don't get it. So y'all help me out. This is a help me out moment. And again, y'all just let me know down below. Is this really where the state of natural hair salons, where they're really going, or where they are now, where they're not even wanting to do natural hair? So with that being said, that's all I got. That's all I have for right now. The rant it's not a rant, but yeah, I said my piece. So with that being said, we're just going to get up out of here. What do you think? I think we should, honey. So that's what we're about to do. So with that being said, that wasn't too bad, right? We were in and out. Okay. I want to thank you so much for dialing in and showing up. I really do appreciate it. I really do. I really do. And yeah, we'll be back talking about some more stuff. Honey, I need y'all to come on back in here because we got some more stuff to talk about. So you gotta come back to that. So you already know it's going to be the same Dolce Donna. It's going to be the same Dolce channel. So you come on back.